the Ashkenazim in Israel, they today recite the Shehecheyanu by the Berit Milah, like the Rambam wrote in his Sefer Hayad. By the way, the Bishop of Gagin doesn't give you the source for where the Rambam says that. The Rambam mentions Shehecheyanu by Berit Milah in two different places. In the Laws of Berachot, in chapter 11, halakha 9, and the Laws of Berit Milah, chapter 3, halakha 3. So two different places you can look up the Rambam who discusses whether or not you should say Shehecheyanu by Berit Milah. Utshuvot Rambam, the Rambam in his letters also, Siman Yud Aleph, in letter 11. Ayen od b'Shulchan Aruch Yoreh De'ah, v'sham b'Shnot Chaim. Look in Shulchan Aruch, in chapter 265 of Yoreh De'ah, in the 7th halakha, Maran brings both opinions, that some say you don't recite Shehecheyanu. Maran in Yoreh De'ah says that because the Rambam ruled that one should recite a Shehecheyanu by the Berit Milah, that is the prevalent custom in Eretz Yisrael, and in all places where the rulings of the Rambam were accepted. I wanted to answer my first question, and that was, why would Ashkenazim not recite Shehecheyanu by the Berit Milah? And the truth is that there doesn't seem to be an answer. What do I mean there doesn't seem to be an answer? There are many answers, but not one answer. So there are answers that vary from, we don't find it mentioned in the Talmud. The Rambam is the first one to create a blessing of Shehecheyanu in this place. Now, those who view the Rambam as an absolute restatement of the oral law with no interference whatsoever in the Rambam's end, they obviously wouldn't like that answer so much. What else? There's an answer that sits with me well. I believe the Gaon of Vilna quotes it in his commentary on Shulchan Aruch. And the Gaon of Vilna, I think it's the Gaon of Vilna, but don't hold me to that. He says that there's a tsar that happens here. There's a certain type of pain that happens. You're saying Shehecheyanu. Thank you, Hashem, for letting me live to this day. Shehecheyanu, v'kimanu, v'gyanu. Meanwhile, there's a baby screaming his head off. He's hurt. How could you recite a Shehecheyanu when a baby is being hurt? This answer, I want you to hold on to it for just a moment, because that leads us to the next question, and that is, if the reason why Ashkenazim do not recite Shehecheyanu on the Berit Milah is because the baby is in pain, does the Berit Milah hurt any less in Eretz Yisrael than it does outside of Eretz Yisrael? Would there be some reason why a baby in Eretz Yisrael, you could say Shehecheyanu about his Berit Milah when he's screaming his head off, but in New York or London or anywhere else, there you can't recite Shehecheyanu, here it hurts the baby? This answer doesn't make much sense. But I did see something in the writings of Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kook, alav v'shalom, the son of Avraham Yitzchak HaKohen Kook. And he says that there's something about Eretz Yisrael. This is surely not a halachic category. So right now this is in the realm of a thought. There's something about Eretz Yisrael that when Jewish people endure pain, it doesn't hurt as much as everywhere else. There's something about knowing that the pain that I'm enduring for my land, for my home, for my country, for my people, it hurts. Of course it hurts. But I can recite a Shehecheyanu because I'm so lucky that for the first time in so many years, I can experience pain on behalf of the Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael. He directly connects this to the celebration of Yom HaAtzmaut. And he says that Yom HaAtzmaut, it is a foolish thing to ignore all of the complaints that, for example, the Haredi community has about Yom HaAtzmaut and the state of Israel and the secularism and the maybe even some forms of rabid anti-Semitism that you find in Israel you can't find elsewhere. The problems that exist in government and in functionality or dysfunction of the government. All of these things are real problems. Says Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kook, there's something interesting though. In Eretz Yisrael, we recite Shehecheyanu even when it hurts. Meaning, he invokes a Gemara, Talmud Yerushalmi. In the Talmud Yerushalmi, our rabbis tell us, Gadol Kiddush Hashem Yoter Michilul Hashem. A sanctification of God's name is greater than a desecration of God's name. Do you need the Talmud to teach you that sanctifying God's name is better than desecrating God's name? Would you need Chachamim of the Talmud to teach us that? No, of course not. So Elamas says Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kook that what the Gemara, Talmud Yerushalmi, specifically the Jerusalem Talmud, is teaching us is in Eretz Yisrael, when you have a Kiddush Hashem and a Chilul Hashem happening simultaneously, the Kiddush Hashem always overpowers the Chilul Hashem. You can see the good and you can see the bad, but in Eretz Yisrael, as opposed to the rest of the world, we always choose to focus on the positive, and this is one of the theological ideas that is behind Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kook's understanding of why, despite the problems of Eretz Yisrael, we always focus on the positive and we celebrate the success and not ignore, but while we're celebrating, we don't focus too much on that which is negative in the land of Israel.